Hello everyone, it's time for a sweet canal. We're sweet for you to listen to. Right here I got Luke Cole and I am Muhammad. My friends call me Moe. We would like to start with a PSA, a simple PSA. Basically, the PSA is pretty old and your parents teach you on it, but still, you gotta keep it in mind because that's why you are safe. The PSA says, look both ways before you cross the street, even if it's one-way street, even if you are on a crosswalk, even if it's a stop sign, even if it's a traffic light. You always have to look both ways because these days not only cars that's gonna come on your way, bird scooters. The slogan for that is "Dude Sidewalk." I hope you are having a great day and it's gonna be better for you to have this toppings for your ears, the last thing, which is the dessert. So after you're having that nice meal of a day, assignments, driving here, driving there, running up the stairs, getting some coffee, it's all pretty hectic. But you cannot wait for the time to get home and sit down and just release your back pain on the couch or bed, depends how late it is. And that time is your own dessert for the end of the day, which is Sweet Canal. You can catch us on YouTube. Just search for Sweet Canal or search for Luke Cole. I tried that. I tried to search for Luke Cole and you pop up. But
did it?
Yeah. When I put
a couple
my name,
videos.
When I put my name, it doesn't show. So your name is very special.
Oh, it's balanced 4 and 4 on each side.
Yeah, that, and your name is pretty, I can say special, because if I put it on Google itself, you pop up, and
That's
you are
why.
pretty online more than me.
Well, that's why I'm on Sweet Canal.
That's sweet for you to be there.
Exactly.
You know, when you have that cheesecake of a sweet.
Cheesecake is really good. I do love cheesecake. I love going to the Cheesecake Factory. Very rare that I do, but go there and they have all those assortment of cheesecake flavors. It's pretty awesome.
If life is a cheesecake, you are the crust, which is the best part ever. I really love the crust. So you add a very good contribution.
Thank you.
And I actually wish, I think there is already a crust only dessert, like just crust. You know?
People do like the crust. It's foundation. It's important.
It's the cherry on top.
I think the cherry on top is the cherry on top. The crust is the crust. But the crust can be eaten easy with coffee. Yeah, I like that, or milk.
That's right. I had coffee this morning. I did not have it any before the show, but like way before earlier this morning, and it's pretty nice.
I had a cup of Burger King coffee that I shared
Did you
with my loved one.
What is 2 sugars and 4 creams, right?
It was about that.
Oh, was it
I think it was
about
6 creams.
Yeah, I'm gonna memorize it.
Yeah, it was 1 sugar and 6 creams, and yeah, it was nice.
It was nice. So let's tackle one of those topics.
Okay.
Lending money. All right. So let's put it in another way and say if you lend someone $10 or $20, prepare yourself for losing that amount because it's most likely you won't get it back. I tried this in Saudi Arabia and I tried this in here, and that happened. I usually like to start with a small amount, borrowing or lending, and if that trust is built up, and we'll be able to lend each other more than that. And I think that trust is the foundation of that. So for example, one time I went with my friend to Chipotle, and we ordered some stuff, and he forgot his credit card. I was like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna pay for you. He's like, next time we're gonna get it. I was like, yeah, cool. I meet you on a regular basis, therefore we won't have any problems. And I paid, no problems here. And after a long time, not really long time, relatively long time, a month or so, maybe less, we did not go outside again. Didn't happen, but he cooked a home cooked meal,
Okay.
and offered me to eat as much as I want,
Nice.
and that was the end of it. So I'm gonna pay you back with a home cooked meal, which is basically half the price. All right. So I just want to tell people that cook things at home. That's that's the good thing out of it. Cook things at home is much cheaper. It might just exhaust you a little bit, but it's pretty fun to clean dishes sometimes. Even though I have a full pile right now in my sink.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we do too, and it is never ending. We are daily cooking meals, and it's like, gosh, we seem to use a lot of utensils and plates and pots and everything.
You never
But-
realize until you actually
Well,
eat at home.
I'm like, this next place that we're moving to is gonna have deep sinks and a better dishwasher. As far as lending money, that's a big deal. Mohammed, I take the process very serious. My mom and dad have lent me a lot of money. I've had to pay them back. Friends have lent me a lot of money. People have been very generous to me, so and I've been able to make money in my life to pay them back. It's important, here and there. I'm grateful. And it's been $10 here, it's been $20, it's been 2,000, 10,000, 20, 40, 50,000. I mean, like, lots of money people have lent me. So I think they've lent me money because I'm good at paying back, and people have probably maybe felt a little bit bad for me at times, but I have been fortunate, and lending money is a dangerous thing because people are afraid to lose what they've worked so hard for, and I understand that, and that's why I take it so serious, because it goes both ways. I've lent money and I've borrowed money, and nobody feels good being left without being paid back. That's really tough. Whether people feel wronged or they feel taken advantage of, and many different feelings. It's very understandable. And so your procedure is very smart. One of the best things is just not to lend money or to borrow money. But sometimes we're in a position that we need to. And there have been many friends who have just forgiven the debt. I feel very lucky. Because there have been people I couldn't pay back, and they've just forgiven the debt, and so just pass it on when you can, which is a great honor, to pass it on.
Unfortunately, I have lent two people not too large of the money amount, but I never got those back from two people. I've tried to ask and say, can you return it? I'll say next month I will. I never got it back till today. And I don't know, I'm just like, well, that's the lesson for me. I'm glad I learned it early in my life. And I don't have to do that again with someone else, unless that someone else is a family member, which I know my brothers are up for it. Or for a couple of friends that I really trust with. Those kind of friends who will visit you in the hospital and not ask why you're sick. Just like, hey, make sure that you are fine. I don't care how you got here. Right? Even though I can see your hand. It's like a lot of broken. I don't know what that called. It's an example. Like I can see why you got here, but I'm not gonna ask or say. I just want to see that you're all right.
People who give and share in the ways that maybe you and I have both at different times, different ways, whether it be financial or through goodwill of person, that includes cooking a meal for someone.
Yeah.
the kind of experience it does. You know, maybe he was very broke at that time, and he really wanted to pay you back, and he was like for 1 month and couldn't do it, but he was like, I can cook Muhammad a meal, because the most important thing is that I show him I was appreciative, and one, that we spend time together.
Yeah.
So I just cannot overstate the greatness, the great thanks I have, the gratitude I have for people who have assisted me. I'm just so grateful to them.
Yeah, I have forgiven my friend for not paying back. And,
Okay.
But like, you know, if I paid you that much, kind of like try to do the same, or try at some point of your life. But like, I'm willing to forgive.
That's good.
Yeah, and a home cooked meal. He didn't say like, this is your payback, by the way. No, it was like pretty cool. But he invites me a lot and like ask about if I'm alright or not.
Well, good.
And he
You
watches
have a
the
good
show,
friend.
so.
Okay, you have a good friend. He's
So it was really good. It was really good.
good.
All right, so I'm willing to forgive, but don't test it. You know, don't test it. Is it the spooky time of the month?
Yeah, of the year.
And be careful if you walk in the dark or something. There will be skeleton hanging around. And if you see an obvious spider hanging from a tree, it's probably plastic. But stay away from it because it might be real.
One of my first memories is of a Halloween around the plaza. And my mom and I had a bike. I was 2 or 3, and I was on the back, and somebody jumped out from somewhere and scared us, and we fell. That was kind of scary. So don't be jumping out from anywhere and scaring anybody, especially in costumes, because it's really scary. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't like that. So be considerate. Be considerate of the Halloween time, you know, that you're not pulling too many pranks and scaring too many people, because a lot of people don't know what's real and what's not, and I would fall into that realm. Like, it could be very much a joke, but it could be very PTSD creating.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It is Halloween.
Exactly. I like Sky is going to be shimmer or shine.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show.
Did we?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
And I looked Shimmer and Shine online and see what they are.
I might be Ninja, and my
Are you gonna cover your face and everything?
My partner might be Yolandi from Die Antwoord. You know, the South African band?
No, I will look it up.
Yeah, this band called Die Antwoord. They've been doing a lot of movies and videos. Give them a shout out. Some of their music is pretty interesting. It's called Rap Rave. Some of it's a little bit, most of it's very intense, and I'd say that it's NC-17, or at least R. But yeah, some of the songs are interesting. They make you think, and I've been asked if I wanted to do that.
Are you gonna like go full ninja and cover your face and have a sword?
I think I'm a white ninja, and I might change my hair a little bit. Maybe not. I might not do any of this, Mohammed.
All right.
I'm not one that's been known to dress up in too many different costumes.
All right. I think Sky will be very happy if she sees you in full costume. Like, Daddy, you do so much fun.
She would. Yeah. She's good like that.
I'm planning to.
What will you be?
Yeah, electricity plug, but I think that's
An electricity plug?
Yeah, but doesn't involve any face painting. So I want to do something that includes face painting.
Okay.
However, I want to do go to an actual event and have fun, not just like wear that and go to class or something, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I can be full costume all day, by the way. And if like Halloween is on a Wednesday or whatever, I think it is.
It is on Wednesday. It's our next 2 shows away.
Let's talk about that. And I'm really like, we can do the show in costume if you like. But I don't know. We'll discuss that.
I don't know.
I don't know. All right, it's pushing boundaries, and I love it.
There's no problem with that, but that would be, Yeah, it'd be a special edition.
It will be
The Halloween show.
very special edition.
The spooky show.
The spooky show.
Sweet Canal spooky show.
Sweet Canal spooky show at the intergalactic hour.
Well, that will be coming up after that at 2:30 to 3:30. We have the Intergalactic Power Hour Edition 1.
That's the live version.
That's right. The live version.
The
That's
live version.
On Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays.
For those people listening to us on kru.org, it is the official student radio organization of UMKC.
Mhm.
And I want to give a shout out to people who helped make this possible, like Shay Perry and Dr. Angela Elam and Kevin Mullen and Peter Morello. All these people come together to make it happen.
That's true. That's true. I'm
Yeah.
just listening.
Okay, and I also want to give a public service announcement in a way, or a warning that the views expressed on these radio shows on KRU are not the views or expressions or consent of the
I mean, I don't know.
of the university. And so it's important to realize that each of these opinions is the individual opinion of the DJ host of the show. And we're given very free rein to discuss topics as we'd like, but don't hold the university accountable for our opinions.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Well,
Yeah,
we don't.
don't.
We're not gonna go to a
Hold me
controversial-
responsible, or hold Mohammed responsible. Get in touch with
Yeah.
us. Ask us to clarify if there are questions.
Alright, attack me on
Always.
social media.
Yeah.
You can attack me at hashtag Canal and say.
I don't think anybody wants to attack you, but they might have questions for you.
Oh, I'm ready for everything.
Okay.
As far as I know.
You're very ready. However,
However,
there's a lot of work to do.
there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Alright, so in order for people to do a lot of work, some of them have to handle, or some of them have to migrate. So our next topic is why people migrate. The simple question is for a better life. Simple question is for a chance, an opportunity. Simple question is family members who went there and just took you. But if you want to tackle this from a different point of view, and I really love it if you shared your point of view, because it's always amazing. It puts me in a different on a different angle. So there are push and pull factors. What pushes you away from your current place to another place? What pulls you away from a different place to this place? I would take an example and say laws, traffic, people, weather,
Jobs, money, education, housing.
personal reference, such as, I like to drive on the left side of the road, for example, and then you go that country where you can't do that if it's that important to you. Pull factors, public relation image, laws are the same thing. How people treat each other in public.
The community.
The
factor.
community, yeah. The things that are available, like services and such, in here you can get a spur scooter everywhere, but in another country you cannot yet. Weather, the same thing, can be a push and a pull factor.
So many of them are duplicated on either side.
For example, even in people in the United States who, for example, live in Kansas City, Oklahoma City, or Colorado, or North or South Carolina, would migrate or move to California. Why, you ask? Because there are job opportunities easy. That's that. So people actually migrate inside the United States, and the United States, it's pretty big. From California to New York, there's a 3-hour difference in time. So sunset would take a while to get to California. What's your point of view on this topic?
Well, we talk about this in our urban studies class a lot, about how people will migrate for a variety of reasons, one being the job opportunities. And in this city, from the entrepreneurial standpoint, I see people coming and going. I see there being some opportunities and there being not enough. And I see there being other opportunities elsewhere, and there, a lot of times there's not ever enough, but resources have to be shared. And I don't know, I think that we can always do a better job at sharing resources, and the resources that are needed from an entrepreneur standpoint are both team, executive team, management, operations, and money, legal part of operations as well. And I find there to be great opportunity here, but maybe other opportunities elsewhere that maybe are not necessarily better, but stronger or better aligned for other purposes. So it just depends on what you do. So if you worked in some industries, it would be better to be in this city than it would be in other cities. Agriculture is one of them. Also, advertising is powerful here in Kansas City. If you were a manufacturer of some sort, lots of manufacturing here. If you were a car builder or a person who had worked on assembly lines, very good. There's seasonal work too, because there's such a harsh winter, and that divides jobs that take place only during the summer with jobs that take place only in the winter. So a lot of people have seasonal jobs, winter and summer jobs, split two different kinds of jobs throughout the year. Keeps them happy and not bored.
Not bored. I don't like to be bored. That's why I am studying to be a journalist. I can do whichever or whatever I want. One of the things I want to do in the near or far future is actually to maybe shoot documentaries, be there somehow, or be the interviewer. It feels like a field work for me is kind of better than being stuck behind a desk.
Yeah, field work is awesome because you're venturing out and interacting with what's really going on, and you can't get as much as that. You can't get that from behind the desk or the camera this way as you can being out in the field. So yeah, you're right. And you have access to parts of this world that other people don't, and so you could be a very valuable member of a journalist team, for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to pull on my own weight. I've studied an associate 2.5 years degree in English, an executive secretary back in Saudi Arabia. And I've graduated about 2012, end of 11. I was trying to look for jobs, and I didn't mind the course that I took. But what I mind is like stuck behind a desk, following orders from a manager, which is not a big issue, but like being stuck behind a desk that's really difficult. So I had to quit my first and second and third job. And I figured out that's not really for me. But I can't take from that I know, the secretary's job, being polite on the phone, setting appointments, being able to take notes and jot down stuff, being able to handle a Word document. Those may be normal for some people, but some people need to learn on that, and I'm happy to pull that kind of information and put them into my hands, and I'll be able to have a very organized timeline, I can say. On another point of view, at some point in the future, I might have a secretary or something. I would understand what they are going through, because I've been there too. So I can tell them, yeah, you don't have to do that. Or I don't even tell them you don't have to do that. I don't stress them too much. But I know good enough to not let them wander around. Like they can go on Reddit or something and look for posts and scroll down. That might not happen. Maybe it's actually, you know, it brought up to my mind working. Back in the day, people work 6 hours a week, 6 days a week, and they only have Sunday on. On Sunday, they have to go to church, and they get back to work. But I think Henry Ford suggested that they have 2 days weekend, and they would be able to have more resting time in order to have more creative, or to be more creative and comfortable. Because people work all 5 days a week, 8 hours, maybe more, maybe less, but around that ballpark, get paid and so on. But if you watch your employees closely, they kind of spread it around a little. They don't really put it in a compressed place where they have to do a lot of work at the same time. They would be like an hour here, and then, all right, let's go to lunch, and then an hour here, and then just like chill on YouTube, and then an hour here, go to Reddit and view some posts. But I think in the near or further future, somebody is gonna be, or already did it, to have the courage to add more day on the weekend, Friday or Monday, and people will be more comfortable, maybe in the middle, have Wednesday off, right? People will be more comfortable in a way that they will be more creative. And I hope if I owned a company, maybe I will be able to do that, or I hope to see it more common than now.
Well, I like task lists and being able to provide an employee with something that's an outline of expectations and, you know, deliverables and what we're, you know, wanting them to do. So that's really important to me, that we're communicating effectively, so that I'm hiring this person to do a job that I would do, but I can't do it because either one, I don't have the talent, or two, I don't have the time. But I have the money, and if we put the money and the idea together with someone that has the talent, then it gets done. But it better get done, you know, according to, I guess, depending on what value you pay. This goes to Marx's, you know, theories of alienation and labor, and which is a pretty interesting argument, that if you're in a city where you can't find work, then you're not respected. You're not, and your work is not respected. Then you have to find a place where you are respected. In the process, you might spiral out of control through homogeneous realities, which mean homogeneity. Geniality is where everyone around you is similar, and there is no exception to creative talent, and everything is just like a spoke on the wheel. And so you figure out that you're one of those spokes on the wheel, or at least society has pushed you into that place, and you have to deal with it. So you either deal with that and are a spoke on a wheel, or you venture out to find your location where you can achieve fruits of thy labor, which fruits of thy labor is capital, money, which we need to live on to, you know, survive. It's very essential.
Money is just paper.
With value.
With value.
Incurred value, and a foundation behind it that you know, you do work to achieve this currency.
If you are stranded.
Or this note, or what? It's a token. It's a resemblance. It is a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Real paper in real time of all the hard work that you did over a certain period of time. It represents a symbol.
It's a symbol of that of work. Like this is, I have a certain amount of work in my wallet.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
like
mean?
Represent 500 hours.
All right.
Have you ever done a project? I have done projects where.
Would you excuse me for a second?
Yeah.
I need to check on the archives.
Okay.
All right.
Is it recording?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
okay.
it is recording. But I need to check on something.
I want to give a story of a time that my fruits of thy labor was not appreciated. There hasn't been just one. There's been many, but I'm able to have enough on the right side that make up for those that are challenged. But then you never know. There's a special miracle that might happen, and you are compensated on the back end in a different way. The miracles of life and the universe are very abundant, and it's really our responsibility to tap into those. And that means being in the flow. Being in the flow means, I would say, trying to be living with a positive spiritual and mental outlook on life, that instead of approaching our challenges of life with rigid boundaries that we can't accept what happens to us, that we instead allow these challenges to massage us into what we can be, what we need to be, and what we should be. And I think that these boundaries that we sometimes get confronted with that might be abrupt and how they challenge us are God sent or universe sent for us to be finding a better place and where we are supposed to be. So when you put in 300 hours of time into a project and you don't get back what you want or deserve or feel is just for the time that's been invested or the brain power, think about the opportunity you were given first to put it together. Make sure that you protect your intellectual capacity and intellectual property. And I will say that something I've been doing recently is if people want me to put a proposal together, if they're really serious about it, I put a proposal together, and I only do the proposal if they pay me a certain amount. And that certain amount, if they agree to go on, because that proposal suggests something much larger, that amount of money they spend on that proposal goes into the larger project. That way they don't just take my work and my hard work and time for granted. And there's value in the pre-project planning that they derive by getting the document and then moving on with me. So I've, through some challenges with achieving the fruits of thy labor appropriately, I have realigned and reformatted my approach, and hopefully that'll work.
Money worth something. However, if we are stranded in a desert, a jug of water would be significantly useful more than paper. So without resources, actual resources, I can see worth nothing. The real power behind a company, people, the workers, the people who do the grunt work. The executives are doing work, but just assigning those people on something.
It's a very much, to me, if it's not done very carefully and if a quadruple bottom line is not in place, people plan a profit purpose, if not the foundation of the company, then they are breaching all sorts of human rights and I would say compensation rights and just individual rights that we have that are oftentimes overlooked when we're not the head honcho.
A janitor, and how would I call it? A cleaning engineer?
Yeah, a maintenance engineer.
A maintenance engineer can make this environment very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Without it, we don't have lighting.
Mm-hmm.
The recycling bin would pile up.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is a janitor, a maintenance engineer, that will be not an issue. So they should be appreciated as well, because they are doing the work that some of us may not appreciate as much.
We were watching Undercover Boss. It was Popeye's episode, Popeye's Chicken, and they had the human resource talent manager go in and do the undercover work. And there was a man, he was a janitorial professional, and he was excellent, and he was in charge of scraping the bottom barrel to get the grease of the chicken grease out. And this human resource professional went in and did it, but just was appalled at the work conditions. But this man kept this Popeye's restaurant really clean, and she really commended him, and I liked seeing that. I like seeing when executives on the C-level suite come down to a earthly level and are able to interact with their employees beyond the SVP level and can break into the worker level where the people are pushing the papers and they're out in the franchises, doing the work. It's really important. Mohammed.
By the way, I'm your boss. I like undercover stuff. I want to be undercover.
You are my boss on this show. That's great.
No, it's just a
You
host.
are.
We're just talking about stuff. You're the crust. Don't worry. I want to be undercover someday, like on something that is maybe serious or not, just like the undercover boss.
Mhm.
So I think that show. I haven't really watched it, but
Really?
I watched a little YouTube clips. It's a pop culture show, right?
What is it?
Pop culture show is like popular between.
It is,
right?
yeah. Undercover bosses. Yes.
Yeah. So you need to watch that. I might really like it.
Oh, you
I
might
love
really
it.
love-
I
you'll
might,
love it.
I might just not.
No, you'll
dislike
love it.
All right.
It's tear jerking because you expect some of these senior level executives to have more compassion than they do, and then others have awesome compassion and are great bosses, and so you cheer for the bosses who are treating their employees right. Some of these employees are really awarded. It's a small group. A lot of times though, this small group that does get awarded has impact change throughout the entire company because of the undercover work the boss and these employees do together as a function of the show. So it's really cool. And that's often like a bright light that comes on inside of these executives' heads is that this work is way harder than they would ever be willing to do, and they cannot believe they're getting paid so well to do the work they're doing. And why aren't these guys who are scraping the chicken grease off the bottom of the cans getting paid better than $7.70 an hour? And the guy's been there for 29 years, and the most important day in his life was in 1989 when he got his watch from Popeyes for Employee of the Month, which was 30 years ago. Yeah, exactly. So in the process of these shows, we see the C-level suite executives who go in and do the undercover work either come to realization that, wow, we have a lot of work to do as a company, and we really need to implement a quadruple bottom line, which is more corporate social responsible, or they deny it all. And it's actually a huge problem that is great for it's great for the audience to see, and hopefully other up and coming CEOs are watching it.
Treat your employees better.
Mm-hmm.
I have a story about
Okay.
that. There is another website other than Reddit. It's another website. It's not on my mind right now. However, the story was so strong that a YouTuber did a story about it, what happened, and like this happened, and this is what happened, and so on. One of those famous fast food chains around this United States, which the post title is Foot Lettuce. So basically, that guy took a picture of the lettuce bucket, and so his foot is on it or in it, and basically what he said, this is what you eat, guys, and so on. I feel where he's coming from. He's coming from a very difficult labor job that he has to work on. However, the story is, people responded and so on, and some guy was able to save that photo, and somehow, and I don't know how that happened. I'm not that of an expert on computers, but he was able to pin down the IP address and the picture itself. He was able to pin down the general area where that fast food chain is, which is like this county or this zip code. And instead of looking into 1,000 branch, they were able to look in 2 or 3, and that guy got fired. All right, he deserved what happened to him, but what led to that is the actual issue, which is probably hard labor, a difficult
Working environment,
Yep.
poor wages,
For wages.
where he has to be happy to be at work, and he's receiving poor wages, and he doesn't have a car, and he's not getting benefits, and his child's at home sick, and his wife's pissed at home, and they can't make their bills, and they're on food stamps, all of it. And they can't afford their gas, and they might be hustling at the gas station, and they're having to go to the grocery store and steal food, all of it.
and they might be going through a difficult education. That's if they are getting education.
If they're little people, if they're even getting diapers, I mean, thank gosh we have the ability to get diapers, but I think about it all the time. How about these little babies who require so much attention and so much love, even when they're being bathed, you know, like they require such care and love and sensitivity, because the tub's like a tough, hard spot, and you have to have a little special tub for them. And how about all these little children around the world that don't get anything like that ever? It breaks my heart. We're so lucky.
We are so lucky to be able to be comfortable in our own lives enough to be able to move on to do what we actually want to do according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have air and water and safety and security and so on, and self-esteem. So my top goal is to do what you actually want, which is a pretty good blessing to be on the top of that pyramid. So some other people are struggling with the first or second one, and that's
What's the first or second one?
The first is air and oxygen and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The second one could be, one of them is security, housing and such. Third one, I think, self-esteem and what comes with psychological stuff. And the last one, or the fourth one, fifth one, maybe I skipped one of them. It's what we will actually, the goal, the pursuit that you're actually looking for. And like, such as happiness, some others are money, some of us just want to be a celebrity, one of us want to be beat some Olympic records, some of them want to just achieve one of the highest degrees ever, some of them want to influence the world, some of them want to keep this world alive for a longer time by going green and recycle and such. For those who are studying in the fall semester, it is a pretty difficult time, almost all the time except the beginning of semester, and that's a difficult time too. The end of it too, the vacation too. It's all difficult, but we have to live with it. So, sometimes you get an assignment proposed to you, and not a usual one, even a usual one where you just have to read a page or two where it says, this is the assignment requirement, this is what you need to do, and such and so on. So what you do is not to just keep that and procrastinate until the day before it's due. Or
Procrastinate.
Yep.
Procrastinate on it, right?
Procrastinate.
Yeah, right.
No, not
Procrastinate?
No. Alright.
No procrastination.
Alright.
So don't do that. So what should we do?
Not to. Alright. I'm not gonna say that word again. No.
No, you don't have to use it in the sentence.
Not to delay.
Don't delay. Don't delay.
You might be able to do it 3 days before. I know you are a smart guy.
I'm not that. I don't like holding things off, and I try not to. I have a very steady flow of workload, and I try to act as a robot as often as I can and get that work done. It's so heavy duty; it doesn't ever stop. It never stops. And the kind of work I'm doing is editing work and writing work and proposal work and business plan and schoolwork. And
where you don't know where is the outcome.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't know the exact time. It's just about putting in the time and the energy every day, hours a day.
So, to a little bit tackle your assignment procrastination issue, and I didn't pronounce that correctly.
There's a difference between procrastination and approximation. I think that the viewers understand what you mean, though.
Alright. Is to read the assignment early at the time and see what is it requiring from you. So you kind of keep it low key on your, like, on the side of the table of your mind, and maybe come up with a way to do it. So that the assignment might ask you to go to a store and do such and such, and if you like keep it in your mind over the weekend, you might talk with someone or one of your friends and be like, I got it, I know what to do with that assignment, because you kind of read it early. And sometimes I would actually, if it's a Malay format, I would basically start it, due date and the professor's time and title, maybe that's usual how essays start, and then leave it. And it's kind of like, that's the most difficult part, to actually start that document and just like start it, just put a title on and just leave it. You might just be able to get rid of so much stress. You cannot imagine how psychological is that. And
that's a good point. I like that that idea of reading the assignment immediately when it's given, so that in the next couple days as you're doing life, that it comes to you that you have an answer, or that you could be cultivating the solution or answer in your mind. Because sitting down and just looking at a request or an assignment, ready to do it right then and there, it takes some time to digest and to, assort your thoughts, assimilate your thoughts and sort them out. And as far as not being able to pronounce the name, I think it's actually, the word is even better that you can't, and that therefore you don't even know exactly what it means. So that's good. It's good. No, we do all know what that means, but as little as of it as possible is best policy.
Would you repeat that, please?
As little of it as possible is the best policy. That word, the procrastination word. And what's really hard around procrastination, because I think all of us suffer from it, is people are fearful of the results of the outcome. They're fearful of what comes from completing. In school, it's grades. And in the workforce, it's doing an assignment or just getting something done. People are fearful, but also people have busy lives too. So it just depends.
It depends. Well,
there's a big difference though between procrastination, because you don't want to do something or you're fearful, and being so busy that you have to get big chunks of time to get things done.
I think we are in this life to, I can say, I don't know what's the exact word for it, but to suffer, to go through difficult stuff and work on them. And in our childhood, it would be difficult stuff of just walking, being accepted in the first grade and not made fun of, and so on with teenager life, being able to go outside further than 11 p.m. and public speaking with college, maybe earlier than that. You have those difficult dreams and being scared when you graduate, what are you gonna do? And then when you graduate, you find a job, and then you always have something. Even when you're retired, sitting at home in a fishing boat, you would worry if you're gonna catch the fish or not.
That Shakespeare monologue about the that we have seven different stages of life. The infant that cries and weens and pukes in his mother's arms, all the way down to the old wise man in his pantaloons, standing there looking back. Yeah, it's a long life. The procrastination thing is really serious, though. People are really, really stumbled, and really their life comes to a screeching halt because of it. So keep it simple. Break the issue down so that it's manageable. Very simple. Step by step. If you've hit a brick wall and you have got to get over that brick wall, do it in a very systematic, strategic way.
How to get over that brick wall? Get rid of it, brick by brick.
Yeah, in a non-emotional way.
If you just run into it, you'll get hurt.
It's true. It's like not looking both ways before you cross.
It's like, being close to the elephant, too close to the elephant. You just have to a little bit step back a little and look at it from a bigger point of view and be like, I can just go around that wall. I'll just remove it brick by brick, a little issue, day by day, step by step.
That's right, and big situations require big amounts of time to solve, so don't get too upset at yourself for not being able to do it immediately. Just remember that it's something that needs to be done, and when you put it on the back burner, a lot of times if that back burner is still on, it's going to evaporate, whatever it is, because most likely it's a liquid form. So you got to transform that liquid form into a mental, spiritual, and physical form, which is action-oriented form. Get it done. Get it done.
Get it done.
Get her done, man.
If you have a lot of dishes in the sink,
get her
it
done. That's right.
If you have a lot of homework to do, sit down and get it done. If you have to go through a long PowerPoint, which I did last night, get it done. If you have to sit down for an hour or two in a lecture, just sit down and get it done. If you have a lot of things to do, put them on a list and get it done.
Because what else will you be doing with that time? You'll be on your cell phone, you'll be making calls, you may be doing your nails.
Looking at the ceiling.
You're looking at the ceiling, reading a magazine, all these things that keep you back from being productive towards the end goal, which is, for us, at the university is the degree, and then higher levels of it, learning and education opportunities. But all of that comes to a halt when you're procrastinating. All that success and opportunity.
So put a painting on the ceiling. You might actually memorize it and look at it way more than a painting on the wall, because we really stare at the ceiling a lot. But it's kind of scary to put it above your bed. However, there is a ceiling fan above your bed sometimes, and I don't see you scared, so put a painting. Let it fall on you. It will give you an edge of life. That's so edgy. One of my notes says, there is always a problem, there is always a solution. Therefore, we already covered it.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about it. Well, problems and solutions. I think that's probably one of the underlying themes of our show, of Muhammad's show, is problem and solution, and how we can achieve a better solution quicker.
You cannot expect a relationship to be successful without problems and solutions. Every relationship has that. The difference between a successful one of a 50 or 60 year long relationship is having problems, solving them
together. It's
okay to yell at each other sometimes, but at the end of the day, if you're good, you're good. You know what I mean? It's difficult. Like I have a friend of easy 10, 13, 14 years. I lost count long time ago. But do you think we're perfect and hang out all the time and like everything is perfect? No. I've made my mistakes, and he asked me to apologize, and I apologize even though sometimes I wouldn't like it, and he apologized as well. He made mistakes, and he would be like, okay, I will pay you back, and I did the same thing too. All right, I'm sorry. It's just like, forgiven, move on. Work on the solution. It's difficult sometimes because of human psychology and dominance, but move on. Just I'm mumbling right now, and I don't like that. We're about 5 minutes and out. So, Joe Rogan, it's JOEROGAN, has a new stand-up special, and it's pretty cool. I think it's called Strange Stuff or Strange Things or something like that. I've watched it about 3 times. It's awesome. Comedy language may be not preferred to some people. However, comedy kind of tackles reality in a, I cannot say perfect, but in a different sense. Why do we laugh about it? I thought about that so much. Why do we laugh about comedy? Because it brings up reality in a way.
I think that comedy gives people the acceptance and the understanding, and also a opportunity to express themselves in an outward manner that they may feel very constructed or constricted to do when they're not in that environment. Like I'm a person that's free with my emotion. You know, if I'm happy, I'm happy. If I'm sad, if I'm mad, if, you know, within a certain, you know, certain level. And so it's not an issue for me. If I hear something funny in a general area, I'm going to laugh. But some people don't feel that way. So a comedy show or comedy, you know, whatever, is probably safe. They're there for that purpose.
Well,
People really get stuck into being at certain places for certain purposes.
comedy. Well, haha. Well, long-time comedians such as Bill Burr and Joe Rogan and Richard Pryor, a long time ago, they would, in their recent, or as soon as they move on with their stand-up, they say, I talked about this issue and this happened to me, or on their Twitter they talked to me like that. Be careful when you talk about that. Sometimes this happened to me too. So comedy is being attacked too, which is one of the difficulties it goes through. So even if you are holding a mic and a cord, sometimes without a cord, depends on what do you prefer. Whatever you say, always gonna be attacked. If you're gonna stay on the safe side and just like keep everyone pleased, well, you better not have a show. So each time they would attack politics, they would attack other issues that are pretty popular these days, and they might not like it. People might not like it. People might leave. People might yell at him and ruin his special, or her. So I personally think that if you are in a comedy show, go through it, do not yell, do not ruin it on the person who is performing, and show some respect. At the end, you can write a letter, you can talk on Twitter, but do not ruin their show. Speaking of show, this show is on YouTube. You can search for it, Sweet Canal, but it's sweet for you to listen to. You can catch me on Instagram at Blacklash4, and you can catch me on Snapchat at Blacklash5. Look, who would you like to share your social media?
Okay, LinkedIn .com/Luke Cole.
I'm typing your name on air.
Okay. My consulting company is Make It Cool Branding Strategies. Currently building business plans and trying to get entrepreneurs funded from the heart of America. A lot of great entrepreneurs with a lot of great ideas, requiring really good business plans that show their funders, financial opportunities, what the scope of work looks like, and what's going to get done in a specific time. So look me up if you need some help there. Mohammed,
Yeah.
appreciate the time
No
on
problem.
the show.
Yeah,
Thank you.
always. I'm happy I'm doing this.
Good.
And what makes me happier when you talk to me about it, whether you are a friend or you find this somehow online. And I'm doing this for entertainment. Other than the entertainment part of it, it's a part of my major as well, and I'm very happy to do it. I like to do things that makes me happy, such as talking to nice people, such as yours, and discussing things that are just nice to discuss with people, and be nice to your classmates.
I find people to be super nice here. I love it here. I love you and KC. It's a real
That's
gem.
very true. I noticed that,
beautiful
honestly.
here. That you know I like it here.
And I noticed that people are nice in
Okay.
here.
Okay. Well, some people might wonder. I do. I love it here.
Speaking of nice things, have a great week,
Yeah.
month, and a year.
Right. We'll be back here soon.
We'll be back here soon. Catch us
Next week.
Next week. We're about to sign off, and I don't have any idea how to sign this off other than just signing off.
Yeah. Make sure you're checking out our videos on YouTube, where you can see it live and in video, not just audio.
High
Thank
five.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.